Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Yahweh is who you can call God, or Jehovah. Yahweh means He is, He exists. And Yahweh Shai is who you can call Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai means He saves, He delivers. And double honors to the apostles at Elders Gate Millstone. And salutation to all argument that's pushing the truth on cut or wrong. Waking leg comes to dark. I'm not sure. This is your brother, Kyle, not from the GMS Miami Camp, but another lesson. Going into the Insurrection Act, things that you see, Trump is trying to use the Insurrection Act, the martial law, in Minnesota. And if you were a wise man, it said, prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. We see that this is, a stage. I've seen a couple of videos where people are asking, why are you masked up? Why are you hiding yourself and you doing all these things? Because they have agent provocateurs trying to incite violence or incite unrest, because those people are really doing peaceful protests right now. But eventually, he probably will trickle down so he can bring, because Trump want to deploy thousands, of troops to Minnesota if he uses the Insurrection Act of the Insurrection Act. So I want to go into what is the Insurrection Act of 1807. The Insurrection Act of 1807, or just the Insurrection Act, is a U.S. federal law empowers the President of the United States to nationally deploy U.S. armed forces to federalize in the National Guard units of individual states in specific circumstances such as suppression of civil disorder. And that's what you see. I've seen something of burning a flag, of insurrection, and of armed rebellion against the federal government of the U.S. The Insurrection Act provides statutory exceptions to Poise Comedius Act that limits a president deploying U.S. military to enforce either civil war or criminal law within the United States. So that's the power that he have if he uses the Insurrection Act. Basically, martial law. All right, the government is in control. All right, basically able to after invoking and before exercising the powers authorized under the Insurrection Act Title 10 U.S.C. U.S.C. 254 requires a publication of a presidential proclamation whereby the U.S. President formally orders the dispersion of peoples committing civil unrest or armed rebellion. The Defense Department guidelines define Homeland Defense as a constitutional exception to restrictions of Poise Comedius Act. Therefore, the political, military, and police measures necessary to protect national security from external threats are exception of restrictions of the Act. See? So that's the power it gives him. Now, we're not ignorant of saying devices. Are we seeing this thing multiple times? Minnesota Governor warns, saying, don't feed into this because they're trying to set martial law. So, put in an AI overview. In early January 26, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz warned the federal government, specifically the Trump administration, was considered deploying federal troops and invoking the Insurrection Act to declare martial law in Minnesota. Following the ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis and escalated protests, Walz continued that these actions could lead to federal takeover. All right, the warning, Walz urged Minnesotans to keep protests peaceful, stating, do not take the bait. Do not allow them to deploy federal troops into here. Do not allow them to invoke the Insurrection Act. Do not allow them to declare martial law. See? So we're not ignorant, all right? That's why, they have these agent provocateurs. And they've always been doing that. There's nothing new, all right, to cause, look like the protesters are violent. In that scripture, but we're not martial law, and you'll be limited. So we're in the beginnings of Isaiah 15 and 16, all right? I mean, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16, Slovakia. Corinthians 2 and 11. I put 5 and 11. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. That Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we know what's going on. We have a scopay upon this guy. So we know, all right, the Lord, we can see through the thin cracks where everybody can't see. All right. The Lord revealed his secrets to the servants, the prophets. All right, so he reveals certain things where we can just look through the bullshit or that they're trying to set. But we understand that these things have to come to pass. It's prophecy. We want them to through the Insurrection Act. We want them to hit martial law. Because we know that we're closer to the kingdom of heaven. So I'm gonna go to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra 15, and I'm going to start at 14. Woe mean death and destruction to the world, and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction drive nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. So you're going to see people fighting against one another with swords in their hands, weapons. For there shall be sedition amongst men, evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So when they really get violent, there's really, no food. All right, there's a famine. These people not gonna regard the president, their governors, their government officials, because it's gonna be in the mindset, I have to survive. And they're actually gonna stand in their own power. All right, a man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. That's martial law. All right, we had a little glimpse of that in 2020. All right, with the C-19. All right, if you was not a essential worker, or you had to be inside the house. So eventually, there's gonna come to that, or where there's violence. That's what it was. It's the Ferguson riots, a while back, early 2000, and probably 16, 17, the Ferguson riot. All right, because they're gonna try to make martial law, so you're gonna, come with their laws and tell citizens that they got to be inside for a certain time. And anyone that's out could be subject to arrest. All right, but it's gonna be bad when it's really get bad. You're gonna be put to death. All right. And 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil the goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. But neighbors that live with each other for 10 years, 10 years, had birthday parties together, with their kids. When there's no bread, it's fuck friends, it's fuck neighbors. It's even some people fuck family, But that's what is gonna happen. It's gonna be so bad out here. People are gonna fend for themselves. But in the scriptures, it is something about martial law, So we want them to bring martial law. We want this shit. We want to go home, man. For real. So we into the Insurrection Act. We seen that the Minnesota governor said, don't give them a reason. That's what they want. All right, and then it'll trickle down to different states. Through the years, we've been seeing them bringing military weapons on trains over the years, and it's for this reason. All right, it was for this reason that that they're putting things in motion. So when these things happen, they're already in those positions. They already have their weaponry. So hope this was edifying. A little quick lesson I want to get into. the Insurrection Act. You know, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Kadash, double honor to the apostles and Elder Great Millstone, and salutation to all arguing that's pushing on the truth. All kind of wrong. Making that come to third, I'm not sure. Shalom.